$493. Our metric for water per month is $5 lower, so 30 to 50 is our mid-range that we see across the state. So you're actually a little like on the lower end of the mid-range for water. So that's a good spot to be, and everything, especially the fact that you've been funding your system correctly. When you look towards the very bottom, you'll see a net cash flow of negative 182. That includes approximately $250,000 of capital improvements. So without capital improvements, we would be about $70,000 to the good. So again, the rates are in place to help fund capital improvements. We've got some capital improvements targeted for this fiscal year that are going to use some of that fund balance. But overall, the revenues and expenses are in line with what we've been planning to make sure that the system is being funded correctly. So good portion to start with. One of the things actually that was built into the sewer analysis, and it's higher in the water analysis, is that you'll see about 5 lines from the bottom, there's an estimated pension contributions. The water fund is going to be have a little bit more to do than the sewer fund, but that is being built in as well into this analysis is to help contribute to the pension obligations of the water and sewer funds. In reality, if the person that is retired or going to be retired was working out of the water sewer fund, even a portion of their expenses came out, those funds should cover that portion of the expenses. So if we've got a DPW guy that works 50-50 water and sewer, his pension cost should be split 50-50 between water and sewer, not from general, not from streets. Whatever their expenses were borne out of, each fund should be paying their respective cost. So that's what this is going to help with, is to help the water and sewer fund contribute their portion of the pension obligation as well, to get that in line.
I should mention about 22% of our pension costs come out of the water fund that we pay annually to MERS. Also, this takes into account some of the modifications we're looking at. That had we not looked at those modifications, these numbers would be higher.
So on the water side, the reason for the difference in why we got to go a little bit higher, we're looking to go a little bit higher in the rate increase on the water side, is we're trying to cash fund more of the capital improvements. And you can see that in the estimated cash fund and capital improvements line. There's $310,000 in 23, and then you've got some 130, 505, 364, 877. So we're trying to maintain that those costs are going to be cash funded over the next 10 years. Try to keep the debt down on the water side. Just as with sewer, we're anticipating one debt issue. On the water side, it's 1.6 million, and that is spread out again with the USDA loan at 40 years. The increase on water is estimated, this is obviously just one scenario right now, but to be 6.5% for 1 year, which the typical homeowner bill would go up approximately $2.25 per month. And then the inflationary increase would be 3%, which is a little over $1 per month per year. So again, with all these capital improvements, to be able to fund the water side capital improvements, sewer side capital improvements, the initial increase, you're looking at about $3 per month $3 per month for a typical homeowner, $2.25 on water, 80 cents on sewer. And then from there, you're looking at, let's say, $2 per month per year, split between a little bit heavy on the water side compared to the sewer side. So relatively speaking, I mean, that's a good position to be in. Again, we've seen a lot higher increases. I'm sure a lot of your neighbors are experiencing a lot higher increases as well. So this is in our opinion, it's a pretty affordable plan to get all these capital improvements funded. So
the 7 million was a combination of sewer and water?
7 million was only sewer.
Sewer, now we're looking at another 1 million, so it'll be whatever.
1.6 on water, so 8.6 total for the utilities. Yeah.
And we did 2 new streets, 3 new streets
Oh, you get two.
that need to be done in.
Yeah.
Plus, you're gonna have some of the, being the fact you are gonna get some money from Monroe, that'll offset some of that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, overall, I mean, the things that can change this scenario, what you gotta be careful about is really Lighthouse. Lighthouse is the big one. Just as we had been planning for a worst-case scenario before Lighthouse came back online, if something happens with that revenue, I can tell you it wasn't looking pretty. So you do have to make sure and I know that the administration does a good job of keeping up on this, but if something happens with Lighthouse, then you need to have an update ASAP. But on the positive side, this is a very conservative analysis from our opinion. We're looking at numbers that we know right now. Hopefully, and on the capital improvement side, I'm sure Brian can speak to this, but you're inflating those numbers over time. You're including contingency. So hopefully, something obviously could happen with construction costs that are out of our control, but hopefully those are conservative numbers. It's not assuming any grant. So if something happens on USDA grant side or MEDC or somebody gives you a grant for part of these projects, then that's going to help you down the line. But really, this is to give you a plan going forward that you can look at in terms of we got this capital improvement plan from Prine and Newhoff. This is one way to afford it and to be pretty conservative out of the gate so that we can address what we need to address. So, any questions?
Questions for Andy? No? Good. All right, thank you.
Yep, thank you all.
All right. Council and board member comments. Mr. Solzweedl, Mr. Chambers,
I'm good, sir.
Mr. Canfield.
We need twice as much money as we thought we did. It's another $9 million. But we wouldn't have known this if we hadn't started the process with the SAW grants to get to where we are today. And at least now we have true numbers to what we're staring at. I mean, this is from 30 years of,
Yeah, but still only takes care of part of it, not all of it. It's still a lot more than that when you look at the big picture.
it's going to be an expensive endeavor to get them done.
But necessary. Mr. Solzweedl,
For that, I'll make a motion to adjourn at 6:30.
I'll support.
motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.